Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are moving right along, and today we have a very specific mission, a very necessary one, actually.
hmm
We've been looking at the learning path, seeing where you are, and let's be real for a second. You've made some serious progress.
You have.
You walked into that coffee shop, you ordered a latte, you went to the grocery store, you paid for the bread. I mean, that is huge. You are surviving. But the material today suggests it's time to do something harder. It's time to actually leave.
Precisely. Surviving inside a shop is one thing. You're stationary. You have time. But transportation, travel is movement. And movement introduces a variable that most beginners just are not ready for.
What's that?
Heat.
Speed.
It's a totally different type of pressure, isn't it? In a coffee shop, you can point. But
Yeah.
transportation, yeah, that's dynamic. I think we've all been there. You get into the back of a taxi, maybe a black cab in London.
Mm-hmm.
You slide across the seat, the door slams shut. And suddenly, the whole world just goes quiet. It's just you
Uh-huh.
and the back of the driver's head. And then he turns around. It is a critical psychological moment. The driver looks at you. He's not a teacher. He's not your friend. He's a professional. He's busy. He asks one simple question.
Where to?
Where to?
And that's it. That is the moment the freeze happens. All the research points to this. Your mind goes completely blank. You have the address right there on your phone.
Of course.
You know you're going to the Hilton Hotel or to the Central Station.
Yeah.
But the words, they just get stuck. You start fumbling with your phone, trying to shove the screen in his face so you don't have to speak.
And that's exactly what we have to stop today. Fumbling with Google Maps is not an option. Not if you want to be a confident speaker. It screams, tourist.
Right.
This brings us to the core concept for today's deep dive. We call it the 3-second rule.
The 3-second rule. It sounds a little intense, like something from a military drill.
It might sound it, but it's really a safety net for your brain. The rule is simple. When you're asked a destination question, you must respond within 3 seconds.
3 seconds. That's not a lot of time.
It isn't. But if you wait longer, the tension rises. The driver gets impatient. And scientifically, your cortisol levels spike, which actually shuts down the language centers of your brain.
So you freeze because you waited too long.
Exactly. So today's mission isn't just about vocabulary. It's about beating that freeze response. We're going to build a reflex.
Okay, so let's unpack the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
To beat the freeze, we need a tool, a formula. When we look at the grammar of movement in English, what's the one thing our listener needs to have ready?
It all comes down to one single magic word, a preposition.
And that is?
To, to. In the English language, if there's movement from point A to point B, you simply cannot exist without to.
It seems so simple, 2 letters. But I see learners get this wrong all the time. Why is that?
It's usually a translation error. They translate directly from their native language. The most common error I hear, certainly in London, is a student in a taxi saying, I go station.
I go station. I get it. It makes sense, subject, verb, object.
You understand it, yes, but it is grammatically incorrect. More importantly, socially it sounds broken, a bit like a caveman.
Right. We don't want to sound like a caveman.
We do not.
And on the other side of that, I hear people who just shout the noun. They get in and say, station, please.
That is better, certainly, but it's weak, it's abrupt. It feels like a confused command. The word to provides the vector. It tells the listener, I am moving towards this thing. So the correct formula is to
Right.
plus the location plus please.
To the station, please.
That is it. It is polite, it is grammatical, it is complete. You sound like you belong in that car.
Okay, let's not just talk about it. Let's do it. We need to use our repetition loop here because, like you said, this has to be a reflex.
I will model the phrase. I want you, the listener, to repeat it exactly as I say it during the silence. Don't just think it, speak it out loud.
Even if you're on a bus right now, just mutter it. If you're alone, project it.
Here is the target. Imagine the driver is waiting. To the station, please.
Good. Feel that rhythm. Let's try another common one. You've just landed at the airport. You need to get into town.
To the city center, please.
Excellent. And one more, a very common one. You need to check in.
To the hotel, please.
Okay, I can feel that. To the. It bridges that gap. It feels like you're handing the driver an instruction, not just, throwing a word at him.
But here is where it gets interesting and where the anxiety can creep back in. The variable.
Ah, right. You can control your answer, but you can't control the driver.
Precisely. The driver might not say, where do you want to go? They use triggers. Short, rapid-fire phrases.
Yeah, real people don't sound like a textbook, do they? They
Mm.
mumble, they're tired. So what are the common triggers we should listen for?
The first, and perhaps most common in both the UK and the US, involves the word heading.
Heading, as in moving in a direction.
Correct. So a driver will look in the mirror and say, "Where are you heading?" Or even just heading.
And that throws people off because they learned where do you go in class.
It does. Another trigger is the minimalist approach.
Where to?
Exactly. Short, sharp, where to? Or perhaps you'll get a driver who's a bit more formal.
Right.
He might use the specific noun, what's the destination?
So we have where are you heading, the short where to, and the more formal what's the destination. That's a lot to process in 3 seconds. Does the answer change?
No. And that is the beauty of this logic. This is why we call it the universal answer. It does not matter what he asks. Your answer logic remains exactly the same. To plus the location.
I love that. It simplifies everything. You don't have to translate his question. You just hear the tone, you know he wants a destination, and you fire back to the hotel.
Precisely. It cuts down the processing time. You stop thinking about his grammar and focus on your output. That is how you survive the 3-second rule.
Now, I want to pivot to something else that's really important here. The emotional side, the warmth. Because I know people listening are thinking, okay, I know the words, but my accent is terrible. He won't understand me.
This fear is the single biggest barrier to fluency. The fear of sounding foreign. But we must be logical. Think about who you are talking to. Taxi drivers, bus drivers. They deal with the public 10, 12 hours a day.
They've heard it all before.
They have heard every accent under the sun. They are not grading you. They want the fare. This brings us to our core philosophy. Connection, not perfection.
Connection, not perfection. I like that. It takes the weight off.
Your goal is not to sound like a news anchor. Your goal is to get to the train station. If you speak with confidence, even with a heavy accent, you will connect. But if you mumble, if you whisper because you're scared, you will fail.
So confidence matters more than perfect diction.
Got it. Okay, let's look at a slightly different scenario. A taxi is private, but what about a bus?
The bus is a different challenge. It's a social challenge. There's a line of people behind you. The engine is running. You need to check if the bus goes to your destination before you pay.
Right, you don't want to hold up the line. And saying, "Excuse me, does this bus go to the park?" is a really long sentence to get out when you're nervous. It is. It's perfect English, but it's not efficient. In the spirit of the 3-second rule, we can simplify this. We use what's called the confirmation ask.
Which is where you turn a statement into a question.
Yes. Simply by changing the music of your voice. Rising intonation.
Yeah, so instead of the whole long sentence, what do?
We use our formula to plus location, but we put a question mark at the end with our voice. So, to the city center.
To the city center. I can hear that rise at the end. It goes up.
It must go up. This is critical. If the pitch goes down to the city center, it sounds like a command. You are telling the driver to drive the bus there.
And he might not like that.
He will not. The intonation is the grammar here. To the city center implies, are you going there?
Okay, let's loop this. This is a crucial skill.
Listen to the music. I start low and I finish high. To the city center.
Make sure your voice goes up at the end, like you're surprised. Let's try another one. The park.
To the park.
Good. One more. You want to see some art? The museum.
To the museum.
Perfect. That rising tone is your question mark. It's so efficient.
No. We have the logic, we have the to, we have the intonation. But knowing it is not enough, you have to be able to access it under pressure.
Time for the drills.
It is time to put this to the test.
Okay, listener, I want you to visualize this.
Yeah.
Close your eyes if you can. You're on a street corner. It's raining. You just want to get where you're going.
I will be the driver. I will give you a trigger. You will have 3 seconds of silence to respond. If you wait longer, you've frozen.
And actually say the answer. Whisper it if you have to. Ready.
You pull the handle, you slide in, the door thuds shut, I turn around. Where to?
Did you get it out? The target was to the airport, please.
Yeah.
Or to the station. Did you hesitate?
If you did, that is okay. But next time, faster. Let's try again. You're in the taxi. I'm looking at you in the mirror. I'm tapping the steering wheel. Heading downtown.
That was the specific question. Heading downtown. A good answer would be yes to the Hilton Hotel.
Or simply yes to downtown. The yes is helpful.
Okay, let's switch modes. You're at the bus stop. The bus pulls up. The doors hiss open. You step up. The driver's looking at you. You need to check if he goes to the park. Go.
The target there was to the park with that rising intonation.
Did your voice go up? I hope you didn't command him.
To the park. Make sure it rises.
Okay, one more taxi drill. The ultimate test. You're tired, it's late, the driver is grumpy. He asks, "What's the destination?" "To my house, please." Or, "To your street name, please."
The address does not matter. The to matters.
How did that feel? If you felt that little spike of adrenaline, that's good. That means you're simulating the reality.
This practice is what separates the people who study English from the people who speak English. You have to practice the interaction.
And remember, connection, not perfection. If you panicked and just said airport, he's still going to take you to the airport. You survived.
Exactly. But with to, you thrive. You sound in control.
So, to recap this deep dive, we started with the tension of that where to question, that freeze.
We identified the solution, the 3-second rule. Speak immediately.
We unlocked the magic preposition.
It's the bridge between you and where you want to go, to the station, to the hotel.
We learned the driver's triggers, heading, destination, where to.
And that the universal answer works for all of them. Consistency is key.
And finally, we practiced the confirmation ask for the bus, using that rising intonation to the park.
You are moving now. You are no longer stuck. You have the tools to get in a vehicle and direct it. That is a massive step.
It really is. It's freedom. But looking ahead, the next challenge in the material is a bit more serious.
Yes. Navigating a taxi is one thing, but what happens when things go wrong with your body? The next lesson is about handling emergencies. What happens when you feel sick?
That's a crucial one. You don't want to be searching for words when you need a doctor. That is not the time for a 3-second rule. That's immediate survival.
We will break down the essential phrases for health so you can stay safe.
But for now, celebrate this win. You can navigate. And I want to give you a little homework. As you move around your house today, practice.
Every time you walk through a door, say it out loud.
To the kitchen.
To the office.
To the sofa.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely my favorite destination.
Keep practicing. Make it a reflex.
Thanks for diving in with us. You've got this. We will see you in episode 7.
See you in episode 7.